see if Mother Nature cooperates, but we will start our coverage today on the 8th, the par 3, Uni Na, last week's champion, in 18.7 meter putt she has for birdie. It is Saturday, the gallery is here, and many are keeping a close eye on this electrifying young woman. Well, the 18.7, she probably found 18.6 of it. It will be just a tap-in par. Three under through 8 holes now, 1 bogey, 4 birdies, a pretty good start to her Saturday. 26 degrees out on course, a steady 2.2 meter per second wind out of the northeast. So we head to 11, a birdie from the fringe. Third birdie of the day for Icheon-2. Rewarded for keeping herself within just a few feet. And now 8. Imi Jung for birdie as well. Another long-range effort. Not quite as close as Uni Na was able to get. Over to 10. Cho Ayan getting ever closer to the top of the leaderboard. That is a lovely bit of touch with the wedge. Now Park Ji-young to get to 8 under par. On the outside, but it comes back in just in time. 9 under. She has found her 4th birdie through her opening 8 holes. The second placed athlete on the season-long money list is making a serious charge. She finds herself now in a share of the lead. But from the rough, just beyond that border of fringe, and what would be the 3rd cut relative to the green. Hit it firmly, wanted to make sure she got through the thick stuff. But a bit too much to allow her a bird. On to 18. Yu Hyu Ju just dives to the inside. So she's out with the 34, having teed off at the 10th hole this morning, 12:15 local time. About 2 hours and 45 minutes at the midway mark of her round. On to 10, again from the fringe. Im Genie at 6 under. Uphill and hoping it's on line. Cho Ayan stepped in front of our line, but we would have heard it drop. 2 putt par, still at 6 under. 2 off the pace. Back to the 8th tee we go with our now co-leader. 5-iron is the club selection. Second longest of the par 3s here at H1. She's all the way off to the right when she wanted to be central, if not left. Teeing off on the 486 meter par 5. And wonderfully into the fairway for Park Ji-young. She's up 4 spots from where she had started the day. Drove well yesterday, slightly above her season-long average of 245.5 yards to 246. 10 of 14 fairways in regulation. Cho Ayan has her putt. Always nice when you can exit the first hole of your back nine with a smile on your face. Yunina. She has had some issues in this front nine, most notably at 6, where she found a bogey. And the power player is back at it again. She will be off to the left, well and truly in front of her group mates, as we've grown to expect from her. Devastating one watching that roll around. Tap in for bogey, the first of the day for Kim Min-ju. Birdie's at 1, 6, and 7 on her front nine, and starting on the decline as she makes the 2.5-hour journey back into the clubhouse. To 8 after a tee shot gone awry. Lee Jae-young, who shot a 63 yesterday and had a convincing lead atop the leaderboard. Couldn't really have asked for much more from where she started that putt. She had been 2 over through 4 holes, but picked up a birdie at 6. She'll be able to likely par number 8 and have one more crack at the 9th. As we head to the 10th fairway with Isomi. To the very back left she goes, will stay putting. Park Ji-young with the fairway wood in hand. Still 229 out. Green 4.5 meters down. This looks like she's sent that to the right. She is narrowly going to get through the rough. Stopped up on the fringe. Not quite reaching the green in 2. But she'll have a chance to chip for eagle, and if nothing else, be putting for the outright lead. Yunina next to play. The left side rough to the left side rough as she bounces in and out of the fairway. A little bit later than had originally promised, but we'll run through the leaderboard now. Park Ji-young and Lee Jae-young both tied at 8 under par. Then we have a quartet of those tied at 7 under. 6 under, the most popular score at the minute. 7 through 13 tied at that mark here in the early stages of round 1. once again from the rough, she is able to get up. Not quite the carry that would have been conducive to a birdie. She'll have a tester there. Rough is also where we find ENG 2. 145 on her approach at 12. Lands with the thud. The first bit of fringe isn't going to quite be able to slow her up. We'll be curious to see if she goes with a wedge or putter for what would be her attempted birdie. Mi Jung, the flop shot that just has enough to get out of the rough. Will work out pretty well in the end. Now Isomi to get to 7 under within 1. It started left and stayed left all the way up. Came back online about a foot past the hole. That is an opportunity gone by the wayside. Now from 23 meters, Bak Ji-young. Short of her eagle, but well inside of her birdie range. So will be the wedge that she goes for, just to get it up to start. Bounces twice, and that's last bit of tall grass before the green. Comes up pin high and still needing about 2 more meters. Isomi has her par. Unina still can get to 6 under. It's going to take a good putt. It's a great putt. Never in doubt for the rookie. There's a reason why she is one of the most followed out there on the course today. Nice way to finish her front 9. All of a sudden, a par save opportunity. And ENG 2 will be able to prolong that score onto the 13th tee. Well, a healthy divot out of the fairway. Misses to the left. Mi Jung also at 9, 5 meters on the nose. Lots of break on that. Didn't give herself enough leeway to the right, so it is a tap-in par. Triple bogey at the 4th, but 3 birdies, 1, 6, and 7. That is quite the interesting way to go out with the 36. After 2 shots from Cho Hyun, she's made up 415 meters. Has 75 to go and probably needs a bit extra club to get up. Bounces over the cup as it nearly looked like it was going to find the stick. It will take her all the way to the back left. She'll stay on and putt though. Now Pak Ji-young for birdie in the outright lead. Tricky downhill. Just a tap to get it started. Down it goes. 5 birdies on the way out. At that pace, she would be on for a 62 to one up what seemed like an impossible score yesterday for Lee Jae-young. Im Jinhee not quite all the way onto the putting surface. She is chipping her third. It's going to pick up a bit more speed. Gravity, her ally there. Gets it to zip to a stop and even get a titch closer to the pin. %58 of the time so far this tournament, when she's found the fairway, she has birdied 57% of the time from the rough. That is the third and first best percentages of anyone in the field. Yesterday was, I'm sure, the best day of golf she's ever had, especially on this stage. Well, 50% of the way through the round, she has already done enough to climb to the very top. 5 under is tied for the lowest score of the day. There are 3 others there, though nobody with as much golf still to be played as Pak Ji-young. Just the slightest of draws, and she will use every available meter of width in this fairway. That should have bounced her back on the little border fringe, or the border rough, excuse me. She should be in regulation there. And that camera angle also gives you a good perspective of the 2 greens. And with the people on the right one, that's a pretty good way to illustrate where everyone's aiming for today. Every hole here up until 16 on the back 9 is the right green. It is just 16 and 18 that is playing the left this week. Yunina said she felt bewildered because she was so happy after the win. Even before the very last putt, she said, I felt the nerves, but I thought that I should focus on the results. Not on the results, excuse me, but what I can do in that actual moment. And that perspective was able to help her find the tournament. She doesn't want to stop there. I want to be able to do my best preparing for every match. She had said, I'll do my best competing at every tournament too. I think she's a player we'll see for quite a long time on this tour. It's a heartbreaker for Lee Jae-young as she does the full revolution and pops right back out. Opportunity to catch back up to Pak Ji-young, but in the end it stays just out and she is 1 over at the turn. Now Choi-yeon at 11, you can see just how much this is going to drop back to the inside of the cup. Needs it to get moving. A little too late for the break to come into play. Par slips through her fingers, or birdie, excuse me, slips through her fingers. Her score at 11 is par. Lands in the center of the width of the green. Pretty much pin high as that drop down. Tell you, it's easy to keep track of Iche and Tu today in the all yellow outfit to go with the yellow ball. Now ENG, this will take her to 7 under if she can find it. And find it she has. 4 now on the day, the bogey at 5, and she is 2 back of the leader. And the featured group making their way down the narrow fairway. Ten birdies here today at number 10. 15 bogeys, 2 doubles, 1 beyond that double bogey. And that higher than double bogey has the unfortunate honor of belonging to Kim Soo-ji, where she had a 7 here. And Jin Sun, we had lost her beneath the hills. Only on the green for a couple of seconds before rolling off into the fringe. Kim Min-ju needs to see this one fall. 2 under through 11, 5 under for the tournament with that par make. On 3. She teed off this morning, group 22. 11:45 local time on the 10th tee. This is Anjian. Despite that little bit of rain, these greens, are still playing very, very firm today. Will narrowly stay on. Approach wedge. Imi Jung inside of 98 meters on this approach. We've seen a handful of birdies from that spot of the fringe. That works out pretty well. Jan 2 has her par, and now the Union 96 meters, only 2 meters closer. She's elected for the sand wedge, a bit more loft than Imi Jung had found, and almost an identical result, if not for a bit deeper. That sneaks in nice and close for Isomi. Leaves Park Ji-young to approach. And everyone's on the fringe. It's a fringe party at number 10. Well, some updates to the major stats that we follow here on the LPGA Tour of Korea from last week's Ever College in Queens Crown. Peng Min-ji with a 19-point advantage over Yuhei Ran for second. Pak Jiyoung third in the points, but second in the money, though she's still trailing Peng Min-ji by nearly 140 million won. And this is the tightest race at the moment. With the win last week, Yunina closes the gap on EA1, who had been running away with this rookie race. The big
SBS 골프 시청자 여러분 안녕하십니까. 서울신문 사장 곽태현입니다. 품격, 풍경, 풍요를 모두 품은 명품 골프장 H1클럽에서 2022년 KLPGA 전반기 마지막 대회인 호반 서울신문 위민스 클래식이 24일까지 진행됩니다. 올해 창간 118주년을 맞은 대한민국에서 가장 역사가 오래된 신문사인 서울신문이 오랫동안 한국 여자 골프의 발전을 위해 묵묵히 노력해온 호반그룹과 함께 새로운 대회를 개최하게 되어 무척 기쁩니다. 호반 서울신문 위민스 클래식은 갤러리 분들을 위해 다양한 이벤트도 마련했습니다. 가까운 분들과 함께 오셔서 Hang 클럽의 멋진 풍경도 감상하시고 최정상급 선수들의 무더위를 날리는 멋진 샷도 즐기시기 바랍니다. 좋아하는 선수 응원하시고 현장의 활기찬 분위기를 즐기시면서 소중한 추억을 간직하시기 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
It is moving day here at the H1 Club, the inaugural Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic. Started with 120 players in the field. We lost 4 due to withdrawals. And we also saw the disqualification of Song Gaun after round number 1. The 22-year-old had admitted as she was signing her scorecard at the end of the round yesterday that she wasn't sure, but she was pretty sure that she had inadvertently broken a rule with her rangefinder. They're allowed to obviously have them. You see them out across the course several times throughout the broadcast, but it can only tell the player's distance. And the one that Song Gaun was using was also showing altitude, or the up and down from where she was in the fairway, for example, or from the tee down to the green on the par 3s. And she said the one time I went to use it, I noticed that the altimeter really was turned on. So she turned it off, but she wanted to make sure that she was honest and came forward as she was submitting her scorecard and told the rules committee, and they'd found that it was indeed a violation of the rule. And unfortunately for Song Gaun, she was disqualified for the event for the use of that complex rangefinder. But credit to her for the honesty and going by the mantra, if you're not sure, ask someone. There's rules officials and plenty of people who work to support this tour for a reason, and it was a very admirable thing from the young woman to do, despite it costing her the last 2 events of this week. I think if she could have the opportunity to replay that, she might consider putting instead of chipping. Didn't get her any closer than that putter would have. As we go down to 12, Kim Min-ju, a pretty thick bit of rough onto the fringe, but well wide of where she wanted to start that roll. Continues to carry on. That's about 4.5, 5 meters still to go. It's a brilliant putt from off the green. That's what can happen when you do trust the flat stick, even from the fringe. Finally under par now for Im Hee-jung. And another effort with putter from the fringe. This one doesn't quite come off. Choi-an. Decent effort from off the putting surface as well. Gets her close. Tip of the cap after her par at number 10. Seven under after that make from Han-Chin Sun. Limitation to keep par. Now also a short look to sustain this score. Lots of meters to make up there. Genie with a pretty good first effort with putter. This is almost becoming something like a broken record, especially at this hole. The back pin placements today causing all sorts of greens and regulation woes. Keeping Ju another situation where par is not a certainty. Fear becomes a reality, as it will be another bogey for her. It's now the second in 3 holes. Tough stretch to start this back nine. Comes to rest almost neatly and perfectly between the 2 greens. A couple of meters uphill for Genie. Nice done. Secures that par. Two of the 3 members of this group, not just long, but almost an entire extra club long. It's a decent first up from Choyan. It's to save par at number 12. Plank as the ball reaches the bottom of the cup. Still within 3 heading to the next tee. Brilliantly done from Park Ji-young off the tee. Another nice drive. She continues to swing that driver oh so well. While it may be a bit of a rare occurrence, it is a delight to see Yunina pairing that power and accuracy right down the middle, and I mean right down the middle. Good start to her hole. Let's go to 14. Each and 2 for birdie. Needed to start that slightly more to the left. So that is right up there with some of the more impressive shots we've seen today. Nice way to finish the fourth hole on Gian, now up to 8 under and just 1 back. Despite where that came to rest, that is a pretty brilliant shot from Uni now, cutting across in between the two sets of greens. The resulting lie is pretty conducive to a low score on that hole. Actually on at 13. She's definitely up there playing loose and enjoying her golf.
Okay, nice.
3 pars now in a row for Han Jin Sun. So-mi trying to get to 8 under. Slightly misread as that started right and stayed right.
나 그냥 딱 바로 가요.
Only 91 meters remains for Jiang. Brilliant. She has found another level out there. Jung from near the end of the fairway, trying to follow suit. Slightly further out, but very much in the same vicinity. Two very, very clever shots indeed. Birdie here yesterday for Cheon 2. It's going to get a nice roll, helped up by the wind as well. She's on for another birdie here. Exceptional, exceptional shot from the rough. She certainly came close. Supporters were ready to erupt. Nice touch from Im Jinhee with her first. Seven under with that par. She'll be disappointed after how brilliant of an approach shot it was, as she has to settle for par here at 11.
들어갔어. 나이스.
Oh yeah, nicely done. That's a great putt. It's a long time coming. She's been waiting since the 6th for another birdie. Finally gets it at 13. And at least for the moment, she moves within 2, but that might be stretched right here. Bak Jiang, who has the highest one putt percentage of anyone on tour so far this week at 55%. That's definitely a bit of an outlier. Both she and Im Jung having some issues with that portion of the green, so maybe it's not as dire as you think to be on the other side of the green. Well, she came oh so close to her eagle. Should be able to find a birdie here. Up to 7 under. And very much in the race. Still half a tournament to go, within 2 at the moment. That miss from Bak Jiang might serve to just allow that door to open. We could be seeing a shootout between those two again tomorrow, just as we had last week.
Nice body.
Kim Min-ju, after 2 bogeys and 3, can finally smile once again after a well-earned birdie at the 14th. This is the 12th. That is the 3rd hole of the lake course. A pretty significant dogleg to the right, 355 meters. The right side green today will come into view just as our drone shot here turns the corner, 210 meters from the tee. Pretty well in line with that first bunker to get you within 100. And the pin placement today at number 12, 13 yards off the back, 4 yards off the left. Shouldn't have that pot bunker in play all that much today. If anything, it will be that stretch of grass that separates the 2 greens. And if you can get up to the middle, well, the slope will be pretty kind to you. Look at the 12th hole, brought to you by Bridgestone. Carrying the confidence from her birdie. So we check in with An Ji-yeon at 8. So her effort from off of the green. About 4 feet still to go.
저기 공 끝나는 데가 카트가 있고 여기서 공 카트 사이드 제일
Now with her group mate starting to get down her neck a little bit, the tee shot from Park Ji-young. Just trying to fade that around the corner. Stays a little bit too far to the right. We'll head back there in a moment. In the meantime, Isomi at 13, 124 out. Not quite pin high, but playable for sure. Shin-sun putting from well off the green, trying to save a par. Nearly had it too. Just a few centimeters beyond. So she will drop one here. Choi on one of her best shots of the day. Sticks that inside of 2 meters. Very, very well struck. Leon has her par. Still within one, 3 holes to play. Well, all 3 are on at 14. None closer, though, than Choi on a brilliant tee shot. Back with our featured group at 11. 2 shots have been played, and .191 meters with the second. Only 83 remain. One of our featured groups, I should say. This is EJ Young. Well, the insects swarming around her head, not able to throw her off too much. Gets down into a pretty good little position. Well, it stays out of the really thick stuff for Yunina. Finds herself in a similar position on this most recent hole as she was last time, and she was nearly able to hole out last time. Jan2 with her birdie at 15. Also moves within 2 strokes with 3 holes to play.
잠시만요. 일부러 치라고 얘기했죠. 와, 핀발이다. 굉장히 굿샷.
Approach from Park Ji-young, decent effort. Now Isomi 6.1 meters as she looks to get to 8 under. Putter's a little ice cold right now. Well, as nice as you'd like from off the green. Back to the score she ended the day with yesterday. Still has 8 more holes to try and get back to that #1 spot in the leaderboard. And just the tap in for Isomi, 7 under. And now again showing off her touch. The feel around the greens is something to behold. On to 13, still 2 back.
들어갔다.
Off the outside edge and just rebounds out from Imjini. Great effort that was. And now the putt from the back of the green, and that's snapped away in real time. Almost immediately it started moving right to left. Jordan has her birdie. Navigating this par 3 in expert fashion. Her first birdie at the par 3 all day. Now back to back and within just 1 stroke. Came harrowingly close for Amy Jung. It's a tap in for 4 under. She has been knocking on the door for quite a while now. She's not quite converting the birdies at the pace needed to get her way back towards the front. Park Ji-young again has her putter let her down in a big way. Now needs a quick reset to make sure it's only one drop shot. Well, all of a sudden, this tournament got blown wide open and feels a little bit closer to where we were yesterday with some big exceptions. It is just Lee Jae-young atop the leaderboard now at 9 under. Park Ji-young is still 4 under for the day, which is a fantastic score, but she could even be at 10 under if the putter wanted to behave a bit better. Isomi at the par 3. Another one that's pretty well pin high, not too shabby. Brought to you by Bridgestone Golf. We will take an aerial tour of the upcoming hole for our featured group number 13 here. 354-meter par 4 across the canyon, off the tee into the fairway that narrows considerably by the time the first bunker comes into play. 225 meters off the tee where you find that bunker. Other side of that, you're inside of 100. Down you will go. The bunker at the base of the green splits them 2 different directions. If the pin placement was clear to the front, it would be very much in play, but it is about the final third of the distance, and if you can stay right and keep yourself on, should be a decent enough roll to get you to within a place where you would feel confident about a birdie. Now first to tee off. With her considerable power, she doesn't need the big stick. Whether it's 5-wood, whether it's hybrid, it's giving her a bit more control. She once again is settling into quite the comfortable rhythm. Over to 6 on Ji-yeon's approach. Most of the holes, especially on the back 9, that backspin would be a huge help. She didn't quite need that much of it. She goes to the right where she needed to be. Could very well get herself up to 9 under with a good putt there. We've just given you the tour. Let's see where everyone has landed. Group just ahead of Unina and company, our leader, going with 7 iron, 53% greens in regulation. She's going to get up brilliantly. That's where she could have used some of that on Ji-yeon backspin, but still within range of a bird. Weren't able to catch her on the broadcast yesterday, having played so early in the day, but in case you missed that opening round, 10 birdies. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, just on the way out. That alone would have been a good round. Then she would have more, 10, 11, 13, and 15, and if not for a bogey at the par 3 17, just as she was making her way towards the turn, she would have been at a 62 in round number 1. Able to find the fairway. That's not the club that's been giving her a few headaches recently. Sooner or later, she's going to have to sort that putter out. Sun 66 meters out on the approach at the long par 5. Gets herself close as well. These two have been feeding off of each other today. Projected cut line, by the way, at the moment is even par, so Anything over par would have you sidelined for tomorrow's final round. Joyanne will roll all the way down the green and off the back. Currently 62 players at that mark or better, which is almost exactly half the field.
밖에 안 보이는데 그냥 열어. 끝에가 오히려 없어져.
오빠가 찍은 대로 밝혀지는
응. 끝에가 약간 그냥 터져서 가는 느낌이라.
She's been putting very well, as you'd expect for someone who had 10 birdies yesterday. This isn't quite as straightforward as it might appear from our vantage point. Right to left, she'll start this about a ball and a half outside of the cup. She gave herself too much.
바로 맞았어.
21-year-old will be trying to mentally reset for par. While at 6, first opportunity to have someone join the top of the leaderboard. Just comes too far to the inside. On its way towards the cup for Jian. Down to just 2 opportunities to get to 9 under. Now Imjini at 15. Well, their approach game remains quite the sight to behold. Catching up with Hanshin Sun, also looking for birdie at number 6. This would move her level with her partner for the day. Slight uphill, probably a little left to right. She's able to dial that one up. Three holes to go, and the 2 players on the front 9 wrapping up their rounds will be pushing each other all the way to the finish line. Speaking of push, Imi Jung through the rough, down the fringe, and all the way down to the opposite side of the green. Isumi a chance to get to 8 under par. She just runs out of speed. Settling for par once again, still 4 under for the day. Jim, 25 meters at the apex as the sky opens up a little bit. About an hour ahead of schedule.
이나는 핀 옆에 딱 붙여라.
To 15, Joyanne. This would be for birdie if she could get it there. She's going to give herself a chance. Fast turn to approach. Going with 9, 130 out.
어디 가는?
She'll still have her work cut out for her a little bit. She's proving to us on a weekly basis now, though, that no putt is outside of her range. As we wait for that group to reach the green, let's catch back up with Imjini. Chance to move within one. Only one putt at 29% of the time. After 1.57 putts per hole. So left to right here. More than good. That's great. Fifth now on the day. Her first since the beginning of her back nine, and brings herself within one of Lee Jae-young, tied with Joyeon, An Ji-yeon, and Park Ji-young, who was desperate for a birdie at the 13th. Han Jin-sun, the last name on the front page of the leaderboard, playing at number 7, just a couple of holes to go. Isomi Yunina also at that 7 under mark, and only 3 players now at 6 under. Park Dan-yu, Hong Jung-mi, who had a great day of 5 under, also definitely in the mixer for tomorrow.
오, 좋아. 아, 이
Slightly north of 11 meters for Park Ji-young.
나이스.
Gets it in nice and close. She will be stalling out at this 8 under mark once again.
구두 시작해요.
나이스 봐.
On to the 14th she will go. Finds herself in the chasing pack. Everyone trying to reel in Lee Jae-young. Lee Jae-young teeing off at the final par 3 of her round. Quite going to get the roll that she would have been hoping for. Now Yunina, 7.5 meters she has to make up here. Just dives away at the last moment.
바나나 좀 주고 가. 봐?
Sumi has found herself in a bit of trouble. Nearing the cart path on the 15th, 94 meters to go. Able to get down on the green, but that will be short-lived as she will roll right off. Now will also be settling for par here. She is 1 back of her group mate, 2 back of the lead. Chen 2. Looks like it's starting on line. Didn't quite have enough for that last little climb. It's about as disappointed as anyone will ever be with the par, but she straightens things out after her bogey at the last. Right down the alley at 13, 208 meters off the tee, 140 to go for our leader. Definitely something to work with there.
소리 안 나게 해주세요. 부탁드립니다.
6 of 11 greens in regulation today. She's been playing a bit better off the tee. Her first par 3 of the back 9. will land well and continue to roll closer and closer. Brilliant little approach.
draw.
8 iron and 14. Asking herself some questions as she watches that descend from the sky and
거리는 맞았겠다.
nestle into the rough just off the green.
Not bad.
It's the thicker fringe more so than it is the rough. Now in a tie for second, with 4 total competitors, 3 others, and she is the one with the most holes still to be played. There's definitely some opportunity for late noise to move out of that tie for 6 with Hoban Seoul and keep making some strides up the leaderboard. And look at the LFAZ's point standings as we await the groups arriving on their respective greens. Not a ton of volatility this week. Yue Ren, Peng Minji had swap spots. Peng Minji not in action this week as she is playing on the LPGA Tour in their major, the Evian Championship. Park Jiang up a spot and with another good round in progress, with the exception of these last 3 holes. She might just be able to close down Hoban Seoul for a podium spot as it stands. She'll be asking a lot of questions out of that wedge as we see if our leader can get to 10 under at long last. Yes, she can. Took her a little while to rediscover that form she had yesterday, but that is now a 3rd birdie since her bogey at number 4 and extending her lead, seeing double digits under par. Jung. It's been quite some time since she has found a bird. She'll really have to work for this one. Long left to right. This is starting back on line. She's got it. Gestured to the golf gods to get back left, and it just hung on. She had started it well. And the ball would obey as it dropped down the hill ever so slightly, but more importantly, dropped into the bottom of the cup. On at 7 as the rain becomes pretty intense down on the course. It will slow these greens up, which has some benefits. Two to play and within 2. Hangs that out to the right in her search for birdie. Over to 16. Hybrid for Cho Ayan with 177 to go. Nice, but indeed, back-to-back for Unchin Sun as she nearly slips as she retrieved her ball. She's definitely not slipping down the leaderboard. Making a splash here, final few holes of her round. Park Ji-young from bad to worse, unfortunately. Two bogeys in the last 3. You can almost consider 11 a bogey as well, with how close of a putt she had that she just hung up. Good chunk out of the remaining distance that time was Ichaen 2, as we'll observe our leader at 14. 7-iron. She's outside of the top 100 in the money. One of the many surprising but wonderful aspects of this fantastic start to the tournament. Roll that out to the right on the fringe.
걔를 보면 이렇게 안쪽으로 있잖아. 괜찮지 않을까? 가야 되는데.
Ginny coming awfully close to a birdie there. It's going to take a very nice bounce as it makes its way pretty well to the end of that first fairway from Uni now. Jen will be next and will be to break out of this bogey rut and to do it in a hurry. Hooping and hollering on the green, not too far away from the tee here. Park Jung steps out. Well, heads left and finds the rough. Awfully soggy out there. She trades club for the umbrella. On 16, Joanne for birdie. It's a very long range effort, and it's a really good try. Two-putt par. 2 holes to go.
주세요. 근데 먼저 허락할게요.
Running out of holes to try and find these birdies to push for the top at the end of this second round moving day. ENG on now will be at the point where she's dodging the raindrops and wondering what more she's got to do to find a birdie.
실례하겠습니다.
4 pars in a row for her as we head out to rejoin Isomi. From this position, this distance, it's been leading to an average of 6.1 meters for the putt. It's 187 meters and a 5 wood. Everything is a bit more damp and a bit more heavy at the moment, and didn't quite catch that cleanly enough to properly get out of the rough. She is right back in it, though closer to the green. Shin-sun, a long-ranged effort, almost a complete replay of what her partner was able to muster a few moments ago. Sends that par putt off the flag stick and in. That is a brilliant bounce and roll, nice and close off the par 3. ENG, that is one of her best tee shots, best approaches in this regard of the day. Yunina at the end of the fairway, 117 to go. She's going with pitching wedge. Maybe gap would have been the more conducive club. Theirs is a little long. .16 for Park Ji-young from the rough. Well, the dynamics have shifted slightly with the addition of some precipitation here. It is only 1 under for the day, but it is enough for Lee Jae-young to restore her lead atop the standings, 2 points, 2 strokes she has on the rest of the field as they try and chase her down in the final few minutes, final few hours rather, of this round. Some groups starting to wrap up their rounds. We go to 18 with each AN2. Downhill right to left putts. Starts the break once it was right next to the cup. She will tap in for par and finalize this second round. 2 under par, 36 on the way and 34 on the way out. Some opportunities to make a climb in the last little bit of the round would go by the wayside. She finishes at 5 under and a tie for 14th. To 17. Choi Yen trying to get this pink ball to drop inside of target. She will not be able to close the gap to 1, at least on this hole. We'll have one last opportunity to do so on 18. Yunina from off the back. This is in the thick rough. Makes it look easy. And speaking of the thick rough, Isomi with still about 10 meters between she and the green. It's buried pretty good, 44 meters to go. What would be her birdie shot? Should be able to make par from that. Nine meters to go for Park Ji-young at the border of the fringe. Birdie would be lovely, but she just needed this par on this one. Put the bogeys in the rearview mirror. Try and finish with a flourish as she taps in. 3 to play and 3 back of the lead. Back to 17, Imjini for birdie. Slight uphill putt. Shouldn't be anything too troubling. I take it back. Shouldn't was the key and underlined word there. Not sure how she let that opportunity slip. Still only just the 1 bogey on the round, but she should be at 9 under as well. Be thinking about that one all the way to the tee. John, nice bird. Out of that tie for 26th, up 1 more spot to 5 under par. Still some work to do here. Converts on an important one. Keeps herself inside the top 10 with that putt. A very short par, but a par nevertheless. We'll look at 16 now as we wait for featured group to make it to the tee. 5 birdies here today, not a single eagle. This long par 5 putting the players to the test. 69 pars, 18 bogeys, 1 double, 2 triples on the day. 5.2 is the average strokes required on this hole. 250 meters from the tee, you can find the very narrow fairway with all the trees off to the right and the canyon and the water to the left. Stay straight all the way down. You can keep that wood or hybrid second shot pure, take you beyond the first bunker off to the right. And then for the first time on this back nine, we're using the left green today. Just to add a little bit more distance that is needed. And the pin placement today, pretty close to the very back, 8 yards from the right, 6 yards from the back edge, with the slope back down towards the beginning of the green. Kind of hold a contest uni now with this driver. We know she'll go long. No, she can't go straight. That was going to be the question, and now we're getting the answer. I do not imagine she'll be finding that one. Hooked instantly. The telemetry did its best to keep up with that drive and lost it just as she had done. Unless there's a bit of a clearing and it's just the long grass on the hillside, that's probably not going to be found. Wouldn't be surprised to see her hit a provisional. This is good caddying and a lot of trust. He finally steps out as Pak Jiang is ready. 7 of 12 fairways in regulation. That looks more like it. It's in play, but it's not in the fairway. Off to the right she goes. And a provisional indeed. Probably thinking to herself, if only that's what I had done with my first. Over to 15 with the leader. Down Jaeyoung goes. One hole closer to wrapping up the round. Well, enough to get onto the green. It will slide back down the valley towards the straight slope. Can't ask for much better than that. Brilliant little approach in the waning moments of her second round. Jiang, she has reached her ball in the rough. 330 still to go and a long way down the hill. That's pretty clean contact considering where she was and considering how wet it is out there. Able to get back into the fairway. Well, the search was short-lived. Yunina is just conceding that it's gone, and we'll take that provisional that she played into the fairway. We go down to Jaeyoung, trying to do her best Imi Jung impression and will the ball back online. This time it refused to obey. Runs a little bit short on juice that time from Isomi. Bounces twice in the fairway before shooting over into the rough, making a tough situation just a little bit more difficult. Came awfully close as the birdie putt breezes by the outside edge. So Mark can get that ball dried off.
여기서부터 다운
Ginny will
시작이야.
have 4 feet to go.
끝까지 다운 시작이야.
ENG on for birdie to take her within 1. Too much speed on it and too far to the outside of the hole.
나이스.
Will roll through. Works out rather well for Amy Jung. Has that side spin to the left with just a couple of feet to tap in yet. It's her final chance for a birdie. We'll watch her finalize that round in a moment. Third shot for Park Ji-young going for an iron. She's going to need all of it. Still 151 meters to go. Heading to the back and gets it up there. That's a nice shot. Gian able to finish up her round with a par. Didn't have that final birdie she'd been searching for since the 4th. 3 under for the day and within 2 as she exits off, and we'll probably find a warm towel and some dry clothes. And Ginny also finishing up the round. Nails down her par as well. And it is the same final score after 36 holes, but a day of 4 under. Choyon, and it is also par. 1 bogey. That was at number 3. 4 birdies as well on the day, and she will hustle off in search of some warmth as well. Unina. This after the penalty. Should be for par. Still has 100 meters to go. Has to get this close, otherwise she's potentially looking at a double. A little outside the comfort zone, but well up, all things considered. And everyone right now at the H1 Club in search of a poncho or an umbrella, as the skies have opened up and they're staying open. Ironically, when we started the broadcast, there's only a 20% chance of rain before 6 p.m., which we haven't quite reached. That's still an hour away. But it gives a different dynamic for these final few holes, with about a dozen and a half still out on course and trying to reel in the leader. Lee Chae-young with about 3 holes to go for most in round number 2. You could really see the rain pelting down on the bodies of water. To slow down Amy Jung as she nearly was able to put together another birdie. So she's putting today at about 75%. Even if she could add 10 more points, she'd have probably 3 more strokes to the good here. Gap is still 5. Be hoping to pick up at least 1 more. Take her just outside the top 10 should she find a birdie in one of her 2 final holes. Isomi, a big splash as she picks that ball out of the rough well, and she is going to have enough to get onto the green. This is bordering on torrential rain now at this point. Something ironic about those towels, even if you can dry it off, whether it's the club, whether it's the ball, won't stay dry very long. We go to 6, Yunina. This is going to be bogey. She needs this long putt to make sure it is just the single drop shot. Looks like she's pushed it. So she goes down 2. Back to 2 under for the day with the triple bogey after the driver for the first time really in the past 2 weeks. Really caused her some trouble with the hook. Sometimes we've seen her play with fine margins and narrow fairways, but never really one quite like that. The weather, no doubt, not helping that situation. Young from a smidge inside of 5 meters left to right as she tries to hole out, but that is a lot more right than she had anticipated. So par at 16, she is through with the par 5s today. She is 3 back. Cut line remains at even. ENG would give herself a bit more breathing room if she can find this birdie. Unfortunately for her, it is a miss to the left. She will par and be on the brink of missing the cut unless she can find at least the par on 18, and par has been pretty well the average score there, so she needs to be close to perfect. Her opening round of 75 caused her some troubles yesterday. This 179 par 3 is the longest par 3 out on course, playing the right green this week. And the pin today is pretty much in the center of the green and just 9 yards from the back. Get right on to the middle, you should be okay. It's anything off to the sides that will likely take the ball right off with it. It will be 5 iron for Amy Jung. Bit of frustrated body language as she let that iron hit the grass. She misses the green well to the left. Distance wasn't much of an issue there at all. To 16. One hole further back with the approach shot, 176 meters for the leader. Trying to navigate the wind. She was on the right green for a moment, rolls off the back, and that's for the best as it will allow her to play a wedge. Trying to get back onto the correct green. This is a war of attrition right now. I think everyone would be more than satisfied at this point to just get in with pars. 69% greens in regulation. Pak Ji-young, another one that has its athlete that swung the club, not overly impressed. It's short.
근데 살짝 그림 가운데
Now going for 6-iron, needing a much better tee shot on this 17th. Indications are that it's left. Camera's trying to pick it up, figure out where it had landed. You can see her caddy, his left hand outstretched, pointing left towards the supporters, and is down somewhere in the rough. There it is, just at the border by the fringe. Jae-young, who has the two-stroke advantage, has herself in a bit of trouble at the par 5 16th. Lee So-mi playing 18 at the moment. A birdie would take her within 2. Everyone just trying to withstand the challenges of the course and the challenges that Mother Nature is offering us at the moment. It's the inaugural playing of the Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic. Moving day with 60 players at the moment poised to make the cut and be in contention tomorrow. a sudden, this has become one of, if not the most interesting shots of the day for our leader from the rough. Behind the wrong green, needs a good bit of touch here to get it close. Oh, she nearly holed out. Well, the rest of the field was hoping that maybe there'd be a bogey to try and bring them within closer reach. They will be disappointed at that, though they'll also have to be impressed. Over to 17. Jiang out of the rough. Hoping for a little bit more carry. That is a heavy hits putts that might still get further away. Isomi is going to have to make the long cold walk around. Hope that when she is down behind the ball that she sees a mostly straight line. That is a very well-earned par. That little flop back onto the green. That alone might just be the reason she is looking down at the rest of the field heading into tomorrow. Yonina, after missing the green with the tee shot, comes in close. Should be close enough as that ball comes to rest for a par. Jung leaves herself with about 2.5, 3 meters remaining for her par before this group will turn their attention to the 18th and final green. That is where we find a very soggy Isomi. Something of a disappointing bogey at the last. Her only of the day, 3 under. Doubling up her score from where she had finished yesterday. Important par putt for Park Ji-young. Burns the inside edge. She will be dropping again. 90 minutes ago, looked like she might just finish this moving day as the #1 player in the field, but things have gone quickly south on this back nine. 5 birdies from 1 through 9, and now 3 bogeys on the back. Amy Jung trying to prevent a bogey of her own, but she unfortunately will be finding one as she hangs that over the edge. So that takes her down to 1 under for the day. Judy now really taking her time, knowing the importance of this putt after her double bogey at the last. Still not where she would have wanted to be heading to 18. But she prevents herself from going down again. So even in the last 10 to 15 minutes, was an important part that was made by our leader to sustain her advantage while everyone else beneath her seemingly dropping shots. Our featured group has reached 18. The par 3 for Lee Jae-young is coming up next. We just take a momentary pause and look out over the mountains of Icheon as moving day is winding down. Well, the first of the tee shots on 18 are away. Lina has that again.
이동 멈춰주세요.
Wide of the fairway. Bogey here yesterday for Jae-young, her one and only of the day. Hybrid off the tee.
밀렸어.
Just gets through the fringe. Will again make its way back towards the middle, as we've seen many from that side of the green do. And at 18, 2 putts to make the cut for Chung Yoon-ji. Not her birdie, and she'll still likely be 9 or 10 shots back of the lead, but she will be prize scoring tomorrow. She will tap it in and make it official as she narrowly eludes the cut line. 61 players at the minute projected to make it tomorrow. So Park Hyo-jin, excuse me, and So Yoon are still several holes to play and teetering at even. She's had some struggles with drivers today too, Park Ji-young. Draws in towards the left side of the fairway, but stays, importantly, in that first cut of grass. Everyone is satisfied and everyone is on the walk. Well, the Dream Tour was inactive this week, but there was some action to be had on the Jump Tour. It was the 2020 Solago Jump Tour 9th tournament, the 19th and 20th of the month at Solago. And by the end of the 2-round tournament, it would be Jung-hyun winning the most recent event, 4.5 million won check, and winning the event by 2 strokes. Takes her up to 4th in the money list. They will go again early next week at the same country club, as they are through 9 of their 16 events this season. Jung playing out of the sand. The rain, if anything, helping her a little bit by making it play a little bit firmer. She'll be in between the two greens, and we'll have one more wedge shot before she can take the putter out of the bag. She's able to find the green, Park Ji-young. Lands with a thud, and it'll be a long putt, but should be able to get there in two. This is damage limitation mode at the moment for last week's champion. Wasn't quite the difficulties that she is seeing in these final few holes off the front page of the leaderboard now, and depending on what Jae-young has in store for 17 and 18, that two-stroke cushion might just be inflated before all is said and done. Peng Min-ji inactive this week as she is out in France competing at the Evian Championship. EA1 is in the field this week. Finished around 2 under today. She's tied for 33rd at 3 under. That is 7 back of Cheong. Unless she has a birdie in store at this par 3, she's coming awfully close. Jung nicely done. Gets it within 1.5 meters. Be able to putt in for par and find the sanctity of the clubhouse. She taps in for par on 17, 1 hole to play. Back to the green at 18. This would go a long way to making Unina feel better about the day. She really went for it. A little left to right, and that is far from a guaranteed par. Be a very anxious walk to mark that ball off, dry it off, and wait for her group mates to finish up.
앉아. 잠깐만. 오케이. 괜찮아. 벙커 러프 느낌? 벙커
Pushed out wide right of the 18th fairway. Should have avoided the sand with a few meters to spare. We'll need a good comeback shot. Park Ji-young would be looking and hoping for nothing more than a birdie here. Starting off right, I think it's going to stay wide.
약간 이렇게 하다 진짜 또 죽을 때 살짝 이렇게 들어서. 맞아.
Been a very tough stretch the past 3 holes. All started with the hooked drive. Doing her best to avoid dropping 1 more stroke today. Needs this par. Some of the clutch putting that we saw from her last week. If not for the triple bogey, she would finish the day within 2. She's clearly still got it in her mind as she will exit after 36 holes. Will have a slightly better, slightly different feeling now that she knows that she has that par. Not going down any further. Two more par putts. The longest remaining is Imi Jung. Was able to rattle in hers as well. In with a 35 after going out, even with a 36. 3 birdies in that front 9 to undo a triple bogey of her own. Last to finish is Jiang, who will be very disappointed with the round today, no doubt about that. She'll exit within 4 as it stands. That is a back 9 that she would love to have back. 3 over for 39 on the way in. Now with the green clear. The leader is good to approach. Did stay out of the sand, trying to clean up that hybrid. I know we just saw it, but for perspective, back right is where she is aiming, sort of in between the white triangle to the right and the red camera stand underneath the flagpole. Gets stuck up in the rough just before, and that is still a relatively long chip she will need to have to set up a par of her own. Even if she chips and 2 putts, she will still be finishing the day in the lead. It wasn't nearly as electrifying as her round was yesterday when she put up a 63, but that is the benefit you are able to have when you do such good work the day before. Let's go through some of the round highlights from this moving day at the Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic. We start with Jay Ream's birdie putt at her 18th hole to bring her to 7 under par, in with a 34, out with a 34, 4 under for the day altogether. On to the third, Unina at this point in the round was at 3 under for the tournament. First birdie of the day came just 3 holes in after an opening round of 69. Fast forward to the 9th, Hoban Seoul, in what was her final hole of the day, 9.6 meters as she skirts the right edge of this green and has an absolutely fantastic putt. 3 birdies in the last 4 holes to finish at 7 under and a tie for 6th with Jay Ream. This is the approach shot on 4. 24 meters, the apex of that pitch, and just centimeters shy of an eagle. It's a much more laid back and relaxed vibe early in the round. Unina trying to follow suit. The bar was set pretty high for her, but the backspin keeps her also within 1.5 meters. She would tap in for birdie as well on 4. Back to back she would go. This was on 7. Chipping was Imi Jung from off the back. At that point, back-to-back birdies of her own. Then Unina, more from her. Left or righter. After at 5, on to the 6th. Jaeyoung, after stumbling out of the gates in this second round, started to rediscover some of that touch she had yesterday. On 8. Just a little tap to get this started down the hill from Park Ji-yeon. It's her 4th bird on the front 9, and there was more from this group before the turn. Unina looking to get to 6 under at the par 5 9th. Started it in the perfect position to let that late break guide her towards and into the hole at number 9. She would be out with a 33 at the end of the front 9. Over to 4. The par 4 on Ji-yeon. A nice feel around the fringe. Good bit of short game play. That took her to 8 under par, and that is where she would remain. Lots of pars on the way in, but kept herself within 2. And on 11, we saw a few of these shots today. You could tell that there was some kind of a reset she had with that first birdie at 6. Balls out from the fringe, and then on the par 3, Cho Ayan. Only about 2.5 meters between she and an ace. She would happily collect the birdie. That would take her to 8 under as well. This was on 13. Similar to the one we saw from Yunina just about a minute ago, that right to left movement, second birdie in a 3-hole window. And took her to 10 under, which is where she remains right now at the foot of this 18th green. .24 meters out. So in the end, it's about a 30-meter flop shot. Park preserves the 2-stroke advantage. Bogey brings that foursome at 8 under, within 1 heading into the final rounds.
살짝 쉬다가도 먹는 것 같은데.
Have about a minute here to get the line from the opposite side of the cup as we wait the first of the birdie putts. Just 2 players in this 31st group with the withdrawals and the 1 DQ we saw yesterday. He won. Been for a round of 69. It's a 2-putt, 70 in total to finish the day. That is a very busy front 9 with bogey, birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey, birdie to be even at the turn. Now he won down in a tie for 47th position, 1 shot clear of the cut line. Wow. Jae Young trying to keep a bit of space between her and the 60 other players currently projected to make the cut for tomorrow. This for par, back up the hill. Little left to right. And she's got it. That is a very impressive finish to the day. A bogey-free round of golf after the 4th hole, 15 to 18. Picked up a couple of birdies and would finish the day 1 under. And after a 63 in round 1, 1 under is enough to take a 2-stroke advantage to the final round tomorrow. And Jin Sun 4 under, as was Imjini, Chae Rim, Hoban Seoul. Park Dan-yu is amongst those tied for 8th at 6 under par. And there are 6 of them in total. You'll see the remaining 5. Jung-mi a round of 5 under. Lee Jung-min just finishing up as well. 6 under today, 66, one of the best rounds anywhere, with the exception of one more name further down the list, but she was as red hot as anyone out there. Yue Ran shot a 69 today to be at 5 under and 5 back. as did plenty of company around her, including Kim Soo-ji and Yoonina, who we followed closely as the champion from last week was trying to put a bit more of an indent in the deficit she is facing. Park Young-gung was even today, a 72. EA1, the leading rookie, would go 2 under for a 70 in this second round. Park Yeol also would go even today, a 69 from Chung Sul-gi. Son Ye-bin is in danger of missing the cut if she can't get back to even and straighten things out a little bit down the stretch. Mata Som, another rookie, a 72. 3 under from Chung Yoon-ji, and she needed to be there, otherwise she would not have been participating this weekend. And there is the scary blue line, if you are underneath it, coming across to cut the field to 61 of the 120 who started the event yesterday. So nearly 50% still in the mix in the final round for the very first time of this event. We will be on the air tomorrow, as is our Sunday tradition here on the LPGA Tour of Korea, 2 hours earlier. That is a 1 p.m. local time start here in Icheon. Looking forward to crowning an inaugural champion. Might it be Lee Jae-young for the very first time in her career after we saw Yoonina win her first last week? And the conditions aren't looking a whole lot better tomorrow as they were today. It will be soggy and it will test the field. It will be earned, as this 1 billion won purse is split up, 180 million of that penciled for the winner. Well, until tomorrow, I've been Adam Jenkins on behalf of our entire SBS Golf crew, signing off from my Toronto, Ontario, Canada studio and wishing you a very pleasant rest of your day and a quick return to the championship round tomorrow. We'll see you then.